Alright, welcome back everyone to the Shardbreaker podcast. I am Midnight, and I'm here with Darkness
Hello.
and Mythic.
Hello.
And we are here to finish off the Well of Ascension. We're doing chapters 56 right to the end of the epilogue. So, yeah, we're excited to finish this book off. I hope you guys are excited for the ending. So, going right into the epigraph, it says, if Rashik fails to lead Alendi astray, then I have instructed the lad to kill my former friend. We kind of got that before. Do you guys have any new thoughts about that, or?
What an
It'll-
evil bastard.
It'll pop up again, so
Yeah.
we'll just update it there. Because
Um,
we read this one line like 5 times already.
I know, yeah, it repeats a little bit near the end here. So we start with Ellen's point of view as he wanders through the mists at night. He was carrying his pack himself, as Spook had said it would be too much to keep horses alive during the last leg of their journey, so they traded them away at a village. They traveled at night as Finn had suggested, and Spook keeps ahead of Ellen to keep him from wandering into anything. Ellen then hears something shifting in the darkness, and Spook checks it out and mentions it's just a myth wraith, that they are mostly harmless, which Ellen's kind of like, I don't know about that, but okay.
A mythwraith.
uh,
A myth wraith. Yeah, a myth wraith.
Look,
Mystery.
I'm a little
Mythwraith.
sick.
A myth wraith.
I'm a little sick right now.
I'm a little thick.
I'm a little thwick. I'm a little thwick, guys.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a little
Um,
thwick.
Spook then also mentions that there are lights ahead, possibly watchfires from an army. Spook then goes on ahead to check things out, and Ellen contemplates how the mists are staying out at least an hour after sunrise. A figure
Oh my god, a whole hour?
A figure then steps towards Ellen.
Not as long as midnight took to get here.
I took less than an hour. A figure then steps towards Ellen in the mist, and he realizes that it's the mist spirit that Vin had been telling him about. The mist spirit steps towards him and then points north, away from Luthadel. He asks what it wants of him and notices it is using emotional allomancy on him. Spook then shows up, and the mist spirit disappears. So why do you think the mist spirit specifically wanted Ellen to go north?
What is north?
For them, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Generally, north, I think, is still the terrace, because they were following the canal the whole time.
That's what I was thinking, because they were headed north anyway, right? So.
You have any thoughts?
Oh!
Oh?
Well, we know what happens north.
Yeah, we do find out what happens north. So you think do you think the Mistborn wanted him to like get caught by the Inquisitors, or like do you think he wanted him to like
yeah,
help
because it
the
diverts.
terrace people?
It diverts Vin back, hopefully,
Hmm.
and then everything that happened at the end wouldn't happen.
Right, so we skip time a bit to Ellen speaking with the terrace refugees. He's told by one of the older men that the Keepers were killed by Inquisitors and that Colas attacked Tithingwin. Ellen also notes that there is a group of about 1,000 terrace, mostly male stewards. Ellen wonders what he should do with the book that Sayes gave him now that the Synod is gone. He's also told the Inquisitors took the bodies of the Keepers. So why do you think the Inquisitors took the bodies?
Make more of them. Why is it so silent?
I'm trying to think, because, like...
I genuinely think it's just to make more of them.
Yeah, but they took the terrace people, right? That's what we're at right now?
The Keepers, specifically, they took.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so... the reason I would think would be because, like, I've been saying constantly, the metal spike thing is very similar to, like, the way that they, terrace people use their Ferrochemy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it has something to do with that. So, like, they're stealing them to, like, for some reason, like, the spikes probably have something to do with them specifically, and maybe they're dead bodies. Like, they can use them to maybe like turn them into spikes or whatever. You know, you somehow use their power for the spikes.
They're fucking bones into like
something.
spikes or some shit.
I also wanted to note here that I had thought that Hoyd made an active appearance in this book, but apparently Brandon has just said outside the book that Hoyd was with the terrace people in the north the whole time. So he didn't actually make an active appearance.
So you lied to us.
I thought he was in every book.
You lied to us.
I
Oh
didn't mean
my
to.
god.
Again.
I didn't
Yeah.
mean to.
She just keeps doing this. Like, she lies to us. She tells us things are something, but they're not. Like, you know.
I thought he made an active appearance in this book, but apparently this one he doesn't. But apparently he was in the north also looking for the Well of Ascension, Brandon has said, but he was also tricked by the whole, like, oh yeah, it's in the northern mountains, and yeah, he also got tricked, just like everyone else. So he was up there, and he was apparently, I think, helping, like, some of the terrorist people up there. So that's where Horde's been, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, Horde has been busy.
Yeah.
What a horde.
Very, very busy.
Anyways.
Anyways.
We then learn that Ellen has lied about who he is as the terroristman asks about King Venture and Luthadel. Ellen brings up that Luthadel has been attacked by Kolos and that he is currently heading back to check on the city. The terroristman then asks about Tidwell and says she would be their leader now that all the other keepers are dead. And Ellen says she was in Luthadel when he left, and the terroristman says he hopes she's still alive.
Dead!
So who do you think will lead the terroristman once they find out that Tidwell is dead?
Nobody.
Oh.
Nobody. They're all dead, so.
I was like,
Faze
is gonna lead them.
There might also be
They're all
other
dead.
traveling keepers around. And they're all dead.
Really? You think so? I personally agree, and they're all dead. But
I think the Inquisitors found them all. So.
Damn. You think they just like hunted them out?
Yep, assassinated every one of them. Every last one of them. That's what Marsha's been doing this entire time.
Well, we do find out later that he's apparently been killing people, so.
Yep. He's an assassin!
So Ellen then goes over to Spook, who is overlooking the suffering group of terroristmen and their livestock. He also mentions that he wished they'd put out the fires as they hurt his eyes, but Ellen replies the light isn't that bright. Spook then says the plan had been to meet back up with Finn.
I can't wait. I can't wait till Ellen puts himself in the same position when he devours Finn.
The fire!
And he's just like, my eyes!
Yeah, like Spook's probably still doing like guard duty and like making sure there's no one like suspicious in the group of terroristmen, and he's like, oh god, the fucking fire, put it out already. And Ellen's like, what are you talking about, dude? It's like dim lighting.
Yep.
But yeah, Spook then says they had planned to meet back up with Finn once she had any allies that were alive, and that they would go to Terrace, but now they can't do that. He says that the whole world is falling apart, but Ellen insists that Vin helped Luthadel somehow. He says Vin might have even found the well, which makes Spook smile. He then gives Spook his tea and worries about what all is happening on the continent. And that is the end of chapter 56. Chapter 57, the epigraph was, "It is a distant hope. Alendi has survived assassins, wars, and catastrophes. And yet I hope that in the frozen mountains of Terrace he may finally be exposed. I hope for a miracle." So do you agree, now that we know what kind of Vin does, do you agree that Alendi needed to be killed? Because, like, he probably would have done the same thing as Vin and released the power.
I don't think so. I think he was already letting it get to his head. So I feel like he would have taken the power himself already.
So you think they should have just let Alendi be in charge?
Yeah.
Because he might have been a better Lord Ruler than Rashek.
I think so.
I mean, I think he would have been a better Lord Ruler, that's for sure. But I don't think I think he would have done exactly like Vin and gave it up.
Obviously, Quan thought that. That's why he was so desperate to stop
I agree.
I don't know.
I mean, from what we've learned already, kind of through the thing, like he seems like kind of like that kind-hearted person that he would probably be like, which makes a lot more sense on certain other aspects that we, once we get to it, of what happened and why what was like written down about how the Mist Spirit had damaged somebody else would make a lot more sense because it would parallel what happened later. But so I'd think he'd do the same thing Vin's unfortunately going to do. So.
Didn't it say he killed like people around him too?
Alendi.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people. Vin has killed
Yeah,
plenty of
there
people.
was like some wars or battles going on back then. It sounds like Alendi was part of them. We don't
No,
really
but I
get a
mean,
lot of
like
details
people
on
on
it.
like that, like were
He says
originally on his
he
side and
says
stuff.
in his own logbook that we get in the first book, I believe, that he was like forced. He feels like he was forced into killing some of his friends,
Mm-hmm.
and that
And
after
I
Quan
mean,
betrayed him, that like if he saw Quan again, he probably would kill him.
yeah, but also Quan made the comment that, I guess he makes it later. I don't know. Everything gets jumbled, but about the fact that Alendi has like defeated people before, so he didn't have like he was worried about Rashek pretty much
Mm-hmm.
being able to do what he needed to do. But yeah.
Sorry.
Hmm?
We have Sei's point of view then, as he sits at a table with the three leaders. Set is arguing that they should be working towards getting his dominance back under control, but the other two insist that it's too soon for that as they're barely rebuilding Luthadel. Seiss agrees that it's too soon, but that Set can send out some scouts to see how things are going. Set briefly brings up Vin, and Seiss reminds him that Vin is more powerful than just the best Mistborn. However, Seiss felt like he was unable to do much with these men other than remind them of Vin's powers, and that he was feeling apathetic towards everything after Tidwell's death. General then brings up that Urtiu, which is apparently the capital of Straff's dominance, is also having issues, and Set accuses him of not wanting to go to his capital because General's own capital is in trouble. And General's kind of like, well, mine's closer.
Stafford set.
Hmm?
Was it Stafford set?
Set.
So
Okay.
Set was arguing. I'm saying Gennaral's in charge of Straff's dominance. So Gennaral was the one arguing that they should go to Straff's old capital because it was in trouble as well. Because he's the one who's taken over.
Yeah.
So Penryn replies that they'll let the Empress, because apparently they're now Emperor and Empress Vin and Elend,
Lovely.
decide. And Seiss thinks that Penrod likes to pretend to be a mediator to put himself in the middle and in a position of power. Penrod then brings up that they are actually in a good position, as under Vin and Elend they are forced to work together, but will also likely to continue to be in power as long as they agree to work under them. So what do you think about these three leaders and them staying in charge under Vin and Elend?
Vin and Ellen, so. I said they're under Vin and Ellen, so I mean, they can't do much.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, at least he got his position of power back in order to help everyone he wants to help. It'd suck if he were to die, though,
Yeah. It'd suck if he was to be stabbed by something.
By some strange creature that we can't understand.
It would suck if the past once
Repeated.
again became the future.
So the three men then ask Seiss when Vin will be up and in control again. For a moment, Seiss thinks he doesn't care, but then he feels guilty because Vin is his friend and he does care about her. He tells the men that Vin is...
Does he, though?
I think he does. He's really struggling with Tidwell's death here.
Yeah. Did she really die, though?
He tells the men that Vin is resting after a long computer drag and needs to rest a bit more, which the men nod in agreement to. Seiss thinks about how Vin has been in a coma-like state for a week now. He worries about how long the Colossus will stay in her control while she's unconscious, and also what will happen if she never wakes up. So when you first read this, were you concerned about if Finn would wake up or when?
Not at all.
Nah, I figured she would pretty soon.
Mm-hmm. It is the end of the book. It would seem like a lot if the Colossus suddenly, like right at the end of the book, we're like, we're no longer in your control. Fuck you.
Yep.
So we switch to Ellen's point of view as he and Spook notice the broken city gates, but also the two armies still waiting outside the walls. Spook uses his
Colossus.
Yeah, well, by two armies, I'm talking about the Koloss and Straff's.
Okay.
They don't mention Set's army. They just mention the Koloss and Straff's army. Spook uses his tin and is surprised to see that Ellen's flag hangs on the walls of Luthadel. Ellen thinks that either the city was saved or it's a trap for him. He then tells Spook that they should mix in with the refugees entering the city. We switch back to Sei's point of view as he goes back to his room, naming people he has seen die. Kelsier, Janendwil, and Krenda, which I looked up those two people, and they're literally just random names, apparently, of people that Sei's knows. There's really nothing important about them, if you're curious. They just seem to be, like, terrorist people that I guess Sei's knew and respected. He wonders if Vin
I can't believe you forgot about Corenda.
Oh yeah, obviously, such an important person.
Very
So
important.
what did you say, Technos?
I said honestly, how could you?
He orders a bin, put him in charge to keep his mind off of Tyndall. He goes over to his table, which has some papers and some strange metal nails taken from Kola's bodies. What do you think these metal nails are?
They're taking from where?
From the Kolos
The Kolos
bodies.
bodies.
Dead Kolos bodies.
They're like the spikes in the Steel Inquisitors.
So Sage begins flipping through the manuscript that he and Tidwell had written and begins crying as he sees her handwriting mixed in with his own. He thinks that so much of what they made notes on was contradictory, such as the hero of ages being tall in stature, which Sage had thought of more of like a metaphor for the hero's like presence of character, and that the power must be released, but that Quan, although thinking Alendi was a good man, did not think that Alendi would release the power. Sage also notes the mentions of the Holy First Witness in the text and wonders how the people who worshipped Kelsier and Vin knew of that title. So
I wonder.
how do you think the people knew of this title?
They probably have voices in their heads talking to them.
Practice your lighting
No,
up, but I can't hear you.
That like it could never be a voice. I don't think anyone would ever talk to somebody through their head in this fucking book.
In this book, yeah,
Yeah.
alright.
Never. Did you also
Definitely no
catch?
voices.
Did you also catch on to the fact that for some reason they replaced the title announcer with Holy First Witness?
Yeah, I was wondering why they did that. Like, I started wondering when how do I say? When I first asked you about that specific title when they called says that.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I was like, didn't they call him like something different? The announcer, I did bring it up.
Yeah, so the people who follow Kelsier have never called Sage the announcer. The announcer thing was from Quan's time, and Sage himself had wondered if he was the announcer. And then the people here started calling Sage the Holy First Witness, and
Because you witnessed.
yeah, and I believe what actually happened is the title then got changed in, just like how the rubbing was changed, the title then got changed in their notes.
Really?
Yeah,
Yep,
so I don't think. So I believe it's explained
be like
as.
what a god could do, wouldn't it?
So I believe it's explained that the people here technically did not get told of a title. The title just got changed because of what the people were calling him, and like whatever was fucking with him and Tindwell's notes was like, let me just change this over so it fits better.
That's crazy.
So that's how that kind of happened.
It's almost like there's a god or something.
That gets freed.
Mm-hmm.
So Vinland's,
I'm free!
so Vinland
I
speaks.
swear to God, I really wish I could show you what the like audiobook, because like the way that they said it is hilarious. When he was
Imagine
like making him, he was just like, "I'm free," and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
I imagine it's like
Read it.
those genies in movies where they're
Yeah.
like just out of the lamp and stuff.
I'm free.
So Vinland speaks of having woken up finally from her computer drag-induced coma. Zace tells her that it was good she had rested.
Coma.
He tells her it was good that she had rested. It mentions the fact that she had been in a coma. Vinland tells Says that the Will of Ascension is in Luthadel, and Says says he isn't even sure if he believes in the Will of Ascension anymore. Vin tells Says that she could feel it and explains to him that she drew upon the mist the night she was killed, the night that she killed the Lord Ruler, which confuses Says because he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it either. I don't think it exists.
Vinland insists that the well is in Luthadel and that the Lord Ruler had made the ash mounts in the desert surrounding his land, so why couldn't he have flattened mountains to hide the well's location? So what did you think about the confirmation that the Lord Ruler created the ash mounts, and apparently that he also created a bunch of deserts surrounding the Final Empire?
Which,
pretty sure I said that.
I mean, I've always said that he created the ash mounts.
Yeah, we got into it before, but we've got like proper confirmation of it.
I wonder why though.
I mean, but from what it was before, though, they stated a lot about how the Lord Ruler had done a lot of things, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like, it could have just been the propaganda too. So.
Well, Vin finds out if it's possible.
Well, yeah, 100%. But
So Saison hears voices outside in the mist. He pulls out a ring tin mine and taps it to hear people shouting that Ellen has returned, then leaps out the window. We switch to Ellen's point of view as he walks the streets of Luthadel with Ham and Spook, citizens of Luthadel following them. Ham explains that Vin apparently took the city back, but that he was unconscious for most of her being there. They then see Vin, and she rushes into Ellen's arms. She says she thinks she did something bad, she made him emperor. He says he'll accept it, and that he's just glad the city is still standing. He then asks if she's still pewter dragging, and she replies that it's something else. So we were surprised that Ellen accepted being emperor so easily.
Not really, to be honest. He was already in a position of power beforehand.
Yeah.
He's just tired at this point. He's like, as long as things are good.
Like, give me a placement and leave me there.
I just want no more rebellions and fuckery. Were you gonna say something, Mythic?
Nope, I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, I figured he was just gonna be like, okay, well, you did this for me, so I feel like it's genuine.
We switch back to Say's point of view as he smiles as he watches down as Finn and Ellen reunite. As he turns, he sees a scrap of paper blowing on the floor in front of him. He picks it up, and it's a torn piece of paper with his own writing on it. He opens up his notes, and the piece fits perfectly with one of the pages. It's the same sentence that was consistently being torn off mysteriously. Sayes considers the sentence, wondering why Quan would be concerned about Alendi taking the power of the well for himself. So at the time, what did you think when you saw this sentence being removed for, like, the however many time?
There's no way I can remember that.
Okay.
There's no way.
It's when they were like, it's when they were finding out that like something was removing the thing, right?
So I'm saying like
they've been saying that for a while now.
Yeah,
though.
they've been saying that for a while. Like, what did you think I was kind of saying? Like, when like this is happening again?
Did I not say that I thought the prophecy was changing?
You did. No, I don't think you said it was changing, but I think you were skeptical about it in general. I don't remember you ever saying it was like the prophecy itself was changing, but I mean, maybe you did.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember that exact wording, but yeah, I think you would.
But I definitely remember you
there was
stating
something.
that.
I think you said like maybe there was like something wrong with that part or something. Like there was a reason like that specific part was being removed. Obviously.
Obviously, there was a reason.
So we then move on to Vin's point of view as she walks with Ellen, Ham, and Spook to Critic Shaw. Ellen mentions that the mists are acting strangely, and she states that they are guiding her, but Ellen replies that they look like they're pulling away from her. Do you think that the mists were guiding her or pulling her away from her, and why?
Pulling away from her. But probably because it knew what was coming.
Maybe it also wanted a clear body, that she can see.
What?
A clear body that she can see. Like the figure. Because if there's mist around her,
I see. So Vin leads the group into the room that has the smaller room inside, where the Lord Ruler would spend time older to store youth. She tells Ellen they'll likely find the ATM, but Ellen replies that they've already looked here. She feels the power of the well from below and examines the floor with normal vision, and then while searching for sources of metal. At first she thinks there's nothing, but then she notices a line that is thicker than it should be. Vin pulls on the blue line and anchors herself with other sources of metal, eventually using duralumin to reveal an opening in the wall. Ham rushes over and says that there are stairs leading down, and they all go through the opening in the wall and down the stairs. Did you expect the well to be below Critic Shaw?
No.
I'm pretty sure I said that it was going to be at Critic Shaw. I didn't know where exactly in Critic Shaw, though.
You also said it was going to be in the well.
Yeah, I did. But that's because
you said it was going to be in the well of the city. The well
is in the well, guys. The ones that's like poisoned, it's definitely in there.
That's because I always say there's something going on with the fucking wells in these stories, right? Ever since fucking
Elantris,
yeah.
You're like, it's the fucking well.
If there's a well in the next one, I swear to God.
I mean, there's probably a well in the next one.
Technically, as long as they're in Luthadel, there's technically always a well.
Yeah. No, I meant like the next.
I know what you meant.
Like in Stormlight and stuff.
The next series. Yeah.
So we go back to Say's point of view as he rereads some of Quan's writing. He feels like something is wrong, but also finds that the title Holy First Witness felt off. Sully the Mist Spirit is next to Say's, staring at the book Say's was reading. Say's remembers Alendi seeing something similar, and Vin also mentioning that she had seen a mist spirit. Say's briefly wonders if it's Tinwyll, but feels like he would somehow know if it was her. He picks up the scrap.
It's Tinwyll, my love.
He picks up the scrap of paper that had been torn away previously, and the mist spirit points towards the center of the city. Sage tries to get the Mist Spirit to write down what it wants, but it just keeps pointing. Sage wonders if Quan knew something that no one else did, that maybe the power could corrupt even the people with the best intentions. He knows Vin wouldn't become like the Lord Ruler, but also wonders what would happen if she didn't have a choice. Did you expect the Mist Spirit to appear to Sazed?
Kind of not. I mean, like, I didn't expect it to appear to anybody, but I'm glad it appears to everybody.
It's
I
it's
thought it would
real
only appear
desperate.
to.
It's been showing. Yeah, it's been showing the people that it needs to be shown.
I thought it would only appear to
Ellen and
Vin, yeah.
It appears to Sazed too. It's like you're the only one who's gonna listen to me at this point. Please.
I mean, but you're not talking. Tell us what you want, Spirit.
Won't talk, it won't write. Just points.
Like,
all it does is
tell
point
us
and stab.
Just tell us what you want. We'll do it. I promise.
Like, it won't grab a pencil, but it'll stab someone.
Yeah,
Like,
I know,
okay.
right? With itself, yeah.
So Sazed hears a scream outside, so he grabs his candle and hurries out of the room. We go back to Vin's point of view as they get to the bottom of the stairs and end up in a large chamber. Ellen says it would have been impossible to find this without tearing the place apart, and Vin mentions that she'd had a hint but doesn't explain further about the thick blue line that she had seen. Spook then shouts out that there is canned food down here. There are shelves lined with canned food as if in preparation for something. So why do you think there was so much food down here?
Somebody's getting ready for the apocalypse.
Do you think it was the Lord Ruler, or do you think it was like Marsh or one of the Inquisitors?
Somebody.
Somebody?
I don't think the Lord Ruler did it.
As far as we know, the only people who knew about this place was the Lord Ruler and probably the Inquisitors. If there's that thick blue line, they probably would have been like, hey, I can see this thing.
You know,
Or somebody we don't know about.
That's true. There could be someone else. What were you going to say, Darkness?
I think there was something in that section that made me think it was the Inquisitors, but I don't remember what it was. So.
I think I know. I think it's coming up at some point here. I think it's the other metal. Is it the other metal plaque?
Don't remember.
Um,
I'll wait till you bring it up.
Okay. Finland says she can sense a strong source of metal ahead. However, at the end of the blue line, they find a large metal plaque like the one in the conventicle of Saran that also has a map of the Final Empire on it with a city named Statlan circled.
There, that's what I. That's
what
exactly what I thought it was.
Plaque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not the metal plaque. It's the fucking map.
Oh, you think it's because it's the map?
Yeah.
So what do you think could be in Statlan City? Why is it circled?
The other god. I don't remember what the other god's name was, but that one. Preservation. That's it. Yeah.
I had a moment where I was like, "Did we learn the name of the other god?" And then I was just as I was like, "Yes, we definitely did." I was gonna. You were like, "Oh."
Well, yeah. No. I don't remember them actually stating that they're gods. I just
they
remember
haven't
that
stated that they're gods. You've been assuming that they're gods.
I'm going to continue to assume that they're gods because they've already stated ruin and they've already stated preservation, and that just sounds like some godly names.
Yeah, they are capitalized ruin and preservation.
That's the reason. That's the reason I said it the first time. Yeah, because they were capital, so they mean something.
Yeah, the whole thing was Tenzin was saying that the Khandra are of preservation and humans are of ruin.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
which does make it sound very godly.
I still think the deepness is one of like its own. You know.
You think it's separate?
It's its own god? It's its own entity? Oh no. The deepness is a god as well. I mean, deepness sounds like a great god name, to be honest.
We switch back to Say's point of view as he is led through the streets by the Mist Spirit. He longs to check on the screams, but the Mist Spirit seems to be urging him onwards. He notices after a moment that it's using emotional allomancy on him to get him to trust it. Sayson finds a man who has died from seizures like others who he had heard about in the south. Sage asks if the Mist Spirit did this, but it shakes its head violently and continues to point towards Critic Shaw. Do you believe that the Mist Spirit isn't responsible for the deaths in the mists?
Yeah, I do, because I don't think the mist and the Mist Spirit are the same entity. I think just because it looks like a mist doesn't mean that it is part of the mist.
What makes us think that there's only one entity in the mist?
That's another thing. I don't think there's only one Mist Spirit.
You think there's multiple Mist Spirits?
Yeah.
You know what would be crazy?
Go for it. Go for it. What's your theory? Come on.
What if them using the Well of Ascension hasn't just been like a 1 or 2 time thing, but like a multiple people type of thing? And that's what the like
they're like the
are.
last generations of every one of them. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
one of
them
them might be a
dead
Lendy.
though.
I do remember saying that I think the Mist Spirit could be like a Lendy, but
I don't think it's a Lendy. I think this is gonna sound strange. I think maybe the first one was like someone from before Alendi, and then this one right now, think what if it's like the Lord Ruler?
You think it's Rashek?
Yeah,
I think like after the last person who took the power dies, they become a mist spirit.
I think so.
I mean, it did show up. It did, if I remember correctly, it did show up shortly after that. So
It did not show up in the first book, that's for sure.
Yeah, it did show up after they killed them. So
as far as we know, there has been no mist spirit activity between a Lendy seeing one and then the second
aside
book.
from yeah,
Suddenly we're ghost hunting.
We're ghost hunters now.
Apparently.
Ghost hunters.
So Sage thinks that he needs to stop Vin so that they can prepare better for the well. He continues to follow the mist spirit into Credit Shaw and then down into the room with the building inside. He sees the opening that Vin had created, but standing blocking it was Marsh. Sage asks what Marsh is doing here and where he has been. Marsh says that Sage shouldn't have come here, and he wishes he understood why he had to kill Sage. He pushes Sage hard with his allomancy and apologizes. Why do you think Marsh is going to kill Sage without understanding why?
He's been forced to do so by the god of ruin.
That's what I was saying. He either has somebody tying to him, right? He knows like what the full prophecy is, and he just has to follow the fact that like
they're there to get ruin out, pretty much. Yeah.
No, I think they're preventing it.
I don't, because in all honesty, his preventing Sazed from going somewhere is another big reason that she ended up doing what she did.
It's the only reason I think this is because didn't he say something along the lines of like, we gotta prevent her from or prevent him from reaching it because we don't know what the well will do.
I don't remember that part, but I do remember him stating. I do remember them stating after that if Sazed hadn't had to fight Marsh, he might have made it there to tell her, to warn her to not do it.
Hold on, I need to look for this because it's pissing me off. Hold on.
Well, because Sazed mentions that because of the mist spirit, he's concerned that like the well will somehow like force Vin into becoming like a Lord Ruler type person. That's why he wants to go like stop her and be like, we should think this through a bit more.
Yeah, but that's the issue. I'm
and
pretty.
If he had stopped her, then they might not have released whatever the fuck it is.
The power. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I read Marsh say that he didn't know what the well did specifically, though.
I do not believe that Marsh mentions the well. He just keeps saying he doesn't know why he has to kill Sazed and like, why are you here? You shouldn't be here.
Yeah, but now I have to kill you, and definitely made me feel bad for Marsh. It's like, no, why would you have to do this? Who is forcing you?
He just keeps apologizing. He's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's so Canadian.
Maybe that's why I like Marsh so much. It's all the apologies.
He's Canadian, yeah. That makes sense. I understand your bias. It's okay.
Yeah.
If there was somebody in here going, I want to tote my guns around, I'd probably be biased about them too,
I just laughed because I realized that Marsh did a pun.
Did you?
Oh, yeah?
When?
Everything was going so well.
Oh.
Wow.
The Well of Ascension. Haha.
Should I move on, or do you want to keep looking?
Yeah, just move on.
All right. So that was the end of chapter 57. Chapter 58. I don't really have a question for the epigraph, but the epigraph was Lenny must not reach the Well of Ascension. ... Which they finish in the next epigraph. So we briefly have Ellen's point of view as he and Vin end up in a smaller cavern with black smoke inside it. The smoke didn't choke her, and she felt something oddly welcoming about it. She urges Ellen forward as they see a light ahead. What do you think this black smoke is?
Dun dun dun.
Any thoughts on the black smoke?
It's the anti-deepness.
The anti-deepness.
It's preservation's deepness. That's funny.
Imagine.
It's the shallowness. That's why I can only fill one room.
Makes sense.
Does.
We switch to Say's point of view as Marsh asks why Say's came since everything had been going so well. Marsh
Did you
pushes
come?
Marsh pushes Say's again, and Say's feels his arm crack. Then Marsh picks up a pouch of metal, which he likely thinks is a coin pouch, and pushes the metal at Say's. He apologizes again as bits of metal embed into Say's skin. Say's thinks that he isn't fully sure why he is here and that he is dying. A voice in his head says that those weren't coins, that they were the rings. That they were the rings he had been storing over the couple days before the attack on Luthadel happened. Say's taps gold and restores his health. He stands and states to Marsh that he hadn't realized that the spike stole a man's soul as well as his eyes. Marsh replies that Say's isn't a warrior, and Say's states that Marsh isn't either. What did you think about the voice in Say's head?
It's preservation.
It's preservation?
Yep.
What do you think?
Whatever I think it's the good god. Okay, I think whether it's Ruin is the good god or preservation is the good god. I think it's the good god, and the other one, the bad god, is the one that's telling people to kill people, and is the one that's probably speaking into Marsh's head to tell him to kill Sace.
Basically, on names alone, it definitely seems like preservation is a better god than Ruin, but it'd be definitely
by
a twist
name alone,
if Ruin.
But you never know.
Yeah, but I was gonna say it'd be definitely the twist if Ruin was the good god.
It would be fucking hilarious.
I will preserve your body in death. Kill all of them.
Well, I mean, I wonder if they eat a lot of preservatives.
I mean, they do have a lot of canned food.
So, I meant the god, though.
But
I guess the people who follow the god would eat a lot of preservatives. So.
Darkness, did you have any thoughts about the voice in Say's head?
It's just mean,
There's a lot of voices in a lot of people's heads.
Yep.
Kind of crazy.
So we move to Alan's point of view as he follows Vin through this.
I didn't know this whole book was about schizophrenics.
We move to Alan's point of view as he follows Vin through the smoke-filled room. He worries about how little he understands about the world and all the mysticism that has been coming up.
Mysticism.
I didn't mean to make that pun. They then enter into a final cavern that seems man-made, even though there is no evidence of it being man-made. Specifically, the stalactites seem too evenly spaced to him. The smoke doesn't fill this room, and there is a low light coming from the center. Vin states that the light is coming from a glowing white pool, and Vin states that it is the Well of Ascension. So what do you think about this glowing pool being the Well of Ascension? Have we ever seen something like this before? A metallic, silvery white pool.
No, that's crazy. What?
Have any thoughts about the pool? Well of Ascension?
No, I've never seen or heard anything mentioned like that.
It's a great place to put a prison, that's for sure.
What if it's like the god can't even swim, and that's like that's why it's trapped?
He ate a devil fruit. No.
Seriously, I want to hear your proper thoughts about this metallic pool.
It's made of metal, and it's a pool.
Have we seen something like
this?
Yes,
we've heard of something like this.
But that wasn't the Well of Ascension. What we heard of before.
Are we talking about Elantris' fucking thing, or are we? Because that's the only other.
Talking about the past journal entries where they talk about how they examined the lake. Oh, they wanted to, but then he got shanked. Right?
Or am I talking about both?
Oh, the fuck?
Both of what?
Both of yours as answers.
Oh, man. It wouldn't shock me if it was like the pool that's in Elantris that the random old man decided he was going to walk into and then disappear.
Wait.
But connecting all of the worlds together. Woo!
Okay, but how would that work?
I don't know, but it just makes me believe that whatever the fuck his name, Hoyt is actually a god. So.
I feel like more than anything, Hoyt is like a traveling bard,
A traveling bard.
I mean, I think he's a god, so of some sort.
He's a god of bards.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you want to make music with him, right?
Look, he's a good storyteller. We know that from the first book we read.
I mean, I don't know. That story wasn't that great.
Okay.
Definitely needed some work on that story.
I since you brought up the pool in Elantris, I just want to bring up the postscript
of what Elantris when he went into
That's what I was gonna.
The Hoyd postscript.
Yeah, where he
That's
went
what I was
into the
gonna.
pool and disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he does go into the pool and then vanish.
Yeah, he just like goes in the water and he's gone. Like probably to come to here, you know. That's why we're reading these books in these orders. No other reason to read the books in the order we're reading them if it wasn't like that. We're just following Hoyd around in
Because
every book.
technically we are Void.
No, we're not gods.
I was gonna say, technically we're kind of just viewing their lives through a book, which is
Yeah, but we
technically.
can't alter what they do or say or anything. We
That's not
can't
what
alter.
fanfiction writers say.
Oh god.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother universe. Then you might be the god of that universe. But we are not the gods of this universe.
I also wanted to go back to Darkness's point about the other metallic pool in this book.
Uh-huh.
So that we know was not the Well of Ascension because the Well of Ascension was in a cave, and that pool was not in a cave. So what do you think about the fact that there was a separate metallic pool?
Oh man, they're probably all over the place.
Where do you think it is currently?
Wait, what? Where do I think it's currently?
Yeah, the other one.
It's in that circled city.
Are we talking? Are you saying the other one is in like the one that's been written down about?
Yeah, the one that
So,
the other guy got stabbed at.
Who's to say that's not this one?
It's
Huh?
not, because we
It's
specifically
not,
know that
'cause-
that wasn't the Well of Ascension. Because the Well of
Yeah,
Ascension is in a different
it
place.
was separated.
They passed it on their way to the Well of Ascension.
But who's to say that this is the Well of Ascension?
That's true. Who is to say this is the Well of Ascension? Maybe this is...
Yeah, exactly.
But still, either way,
you're
where's
jumping
the
ahead. You're jumping ahead here, Midnight. God damn.
But still, who is where's the other?
I don't know. The other one's probably got preservation in it.
Oh, that's a good theory.
Yeah, like if this one had ruin in it, or vice versa, whatever. The other one probably has the good gut in it.
What if it's not that the prophecy is like bad or like that they took the wrong steps? It's just that they did it at the wrong fucking pool. Oh my god,
That's why the Lord Ruler hid this one. He's like, don't go to this pool.
And they went
the bad
specifically to that one. Where is that circled city from where they are now? Like what direction?
I don't see it on the maps.
Because it doesn't exist.
Well,
it
not
does.
anymore.
They know of the city.
Where the fuck is it?
It's not there because it doesn't exist. The god removed it from the map.
It's the fact that I can't even. Oh, I found it. Not the map, but like I mean, not the place, but like what I was looking for.
Wherever the town is.
Only things written in metal can be trusted.
Yes. Is the map written in metal?
Nope. It's on paper, obviously.
So anyways, to continue on, Vin worries that she'll become like the Lord Ruler, but Ellen says she is sincere and she won't become like the Lord Ruler. They then briefly notice some broken pottery, as well as an unbroken disc with a bead of metal on it that looks like atium but is the wrong color.
I wonder what it could be.
We go back to Say's point of view as
It's Electrum!
We go back to Say's point of view as he and Marsh fight. He keeps Marsh from pushing him by increasing his weight so that Marsh is pushed backwards instead. Sayce thinks that having metals embedded within you, although a bit morbid, was also incredibly useful. Sayce taps Speed to grab onto a lamp that Marsh pulls on, and Marsh rushes towards him. Sayce, however, slams the lamp into Marsh's face, which causes one of Marsh's eye spikes to be crushed further into his head. Sayce asks Marsh why, but Marsh says he doesn't know. Sayce then tries to speed around Marsh to get to the spike in his back, which will kill him, but his steel mind runs out. Marsh quickly knocks Sayce away as Sayce's Peter mind also runs out. Marsh says Sayce was wrong about him not being a warrior as he just spent the last year killing so many people. Just as Marsh is about to kill Sayce, a dueling cane crashes down onto Marsh's head. What did you think about Sayce and Marsh's fight?
Short-lived. I was kind of hoping Marsh would kill him.
Wow.
Low key, I was ready for Sayce to die.
Yep, I was too. I was like, oh, well, I guess my favorite character's dead. And then my second favorite character showed up. Obviously a lie because I don't like him at all.
So we move back to Vin's point of view as she and Ellen walk up to the pool of light. It was gathered in a small depression in the rock and was a silvery white that looked like liquid metal. The mist spirit then appears in the room, Ellen noticing it first. Vin pulls out her dagger, but Ellen says he doesn't think the Mist Spirit means to hurt them. He walks towards it and asks what it wants, but the Mist Spirit slices at Elend, cutting across his torso. Vin screams and rushes to Elend as the Mist Spirit backs away. She notices that the wound is very bad. Had you been expecting the Mist Spirit to attack Elend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did it attack whatever the fuck?
Whatever
other
that guy's
person.
name was.
The other person that was following the.
I feel like you guys have been waiting for a while for the Mist Spirit to attack someone.
Yeah, to attack Ellen, yeah, specifically.
I think at one point you guys thought it might attack Spook.
Yeah, I did. I thought Spook would get attacked instead, but that was only because Ellen hadn't been attacked yet.
That's why Ellen shouldn't have fucking eaten his horse.
He ate my horse.
We go back to Say's point of view as Ham helps Say's up with his good hand. Ham says he hadn't expected to see Say's there, and then the two go back down the stairs towards the caverns and the well. We go back to Vin's point of view as she cradles.
And then they share a ham.
She cradles Ellen and tells him that she loves him. She thinks that she could use the power of the well to save him. She rolls up her coat and puts it under his head before walking into the liquid pool. Back with Say's, he feels the rock tremble and knows he is too late to stop Vin. Back with Vin's point of view as the power of the well rushes into her. Her ear begins to hurt, and she yanks her earring out, letting it drop to the bottom of the pool. She also pulls off the sash with her metal vials, which is the only other bits of metal on her person. Why do you think Vin had to remove the metals on her?
Can't be used against her.
Or maybe it's similar to how there needs to be a specific percentage. So, like, maybe it has to be pure in order for it to work. And her having that metal there is going to fuck it all up.
Possibly. Vin then begins to glow, and she feels even stronger than when she is burning pewter. Her mind expands so that she can comprehend what she could do with the power. The world around her expands, and she can see the whole planet where life can only exist in small areas at the poles. So I wanted to briefly get into that. What do you think about like this planet where like it seems like 99 or something % of it is uninhabitable, and there's only like these like little sections at the poles of the planet that can sustain life?
The gods really need to fucking get working on their shit for sure.
Maybe they did work on it, and that's why it's uninhabitable. Because I was thinking, if it does go with the theory that there was multiple people doing that shit, then anyone would be able to terraform or however, they want to fix that world, quote unquote fix.
Right, so she thinks that she could fix Elend, but a kind elderly voice tells her she mustn't do that. I must defeat the deepness, the voice said. It tells her that if she tries to stop the deepness herself like Rashek did, she will also ruin the world. Vin then remembers that Sage had told her to trust Elend and trust what he wanted. She knew Elend would want her to save his people. She whispers, "I love you," and then releases the power. She stops glowing and falls to the cavern floor as the whole cavern begins to shake. In her mind, she hears the words, "I am free." That was the end of
I'm
chapter
free
58.
from this podcast.
Wow. Chapter 59. The epigraph is ...
What do you think? You think Ruin wants us talking about him? Like,
So the epigraph is ... for he must not be allowed to release the thing that is imprisoned there. I feel like you kind of already said, but my question here is, what do you think was imprisoned in the Well of Ascension?
The god of ruin.
You agree,
Only
Douglas?
because, like we said,
It was obviously a genie.
Totally.
It was the genie from Aladdin.
No, that genie's actually good though. So it might be Jafar from Aladdin.
Oh no.
He also no. What is that? I guess didn't he? What did he say when he got changed? When he turned in, I'm pretty sure he said he was free or no cosmic power or something like that.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly either, but I'm free.
So we continue with Vin's point of view as she weeps over Ellen's body. She feels like she somehow made a terrible mistake. The Mist Spirit then comes over to her, and Vin tells her it's over. Tells it that it's over, and that the spirit got what it wanted. She then wonders why the Mist Spirit had stabbed Ellen, and realizes it was trying to get her to use the power to save him. Vin slowly gets to her feet and wanders over to where the Mist Spirit was pointing. She finds the small bead of metal and asks what it is. The Mist Spirit goes back over to Ellen, who is still alive, and whispers her name. Vin kneels next to him and goes to eat the bead of metal, but the Mist Spirit waves its hands to stop her before pointing at Elend. Vin then feeds the bead of metal to Elend and washes it down with one of her metal vials, as it's the only liquid she has. Suddenly the color begins to return to Ellen's cheeks, and Vin realizes he is burning pewter. What were your thoughts on the Mistspirit helping Elend after stabbing him?
Well, I mean, with the explanation of him wanting Vin to use the power to heal him, it made sense why it stabbed him.
Mm-hmm.
It also then made me think about the fact that in the story, whatever the fuck his name is, Alendi, had somebody get stabbed, and I was like, did the same thing
That's
happen
what I was
then
thinking too.
too?
Yeah.
They wanted them to use the power, and then he actually did at that point or something.
And you know what that made me realize, Loki? That well, I'm pretty sure I'm not the well, the lake that dude wanted to study,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's where he got stabbed, right?
Yeah, he wanted to go take a sample of the lake. 'Cause he's like, this lake is really fucking weird. I want to go take like a sample from it, and then he gets stabbed that night, or like that day or something.
So, what if what if that confirms that that's like a second well of Ascension?
Why would there be two well of Ascensions though?
Because there's two being strapped, or simply because there's multiple wells.
So does that mean that there's more powers out there for
Well,
this new
definitely, we
being,
know that for a fact.
for this new being to go try to gain access
I
to?
I don't think they would. Mm, it would be more like they're trapped with their own power. I don't know, but um, I was just saying, I feel like that confirms it because why else would he like stab him so close to that lake if it weren't the same situation as like Vin and Ellen?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like history just repeated itself. That's, in all honesty.
But at that point, we know it's not the well Ascension they're looking for. So
I mean, in all honesty, I think it's more of the fact that the way I see it, it would be it's not their power it's like some other power that's trapped them, but it is like taken their power from them. Like the way I'm thinking about it is, it's like kind of like what are they fucking called? How liches have phylacteries or whatever. Um, each well, like let's say there's multiple wells, not just two. So there's multiple. Each well would have like a select amount of power, and like Ruin wants all of it because he's greedy or something to that extent. And so he's gonna end up trying to go get all the rest of them. But while he was imprisoned, it was like siphoning that power, and so when she gave the power back, it was like, here, God, here's some power, you know, instead of it trapping him anymore.
what if the one Vin went into is that lake, and the one that Rashek went into is the one that's not there?
I have another theory, but I haven't fully gotten like the whole idea behind it.
What's your theory?
So, if we go based on the fact that two gods have been like two people we assume, or two names we assume are gods, what if preservation and Ruin battled at one point, and preservation had to sacrifice themselves in some way to imprison Ruin. So the pools are actually like preservation's power, and Ruin is being was being imprisoned by them. And so when she removed the power and then basically gave it back, he has like a small bit of preservation's power instead. And then I guess I'm still mulling over some things, but it's so weird. I find it very weird that of all of the metals that are in this book, all of them are actual metals except atium. And then what was the 11th metal?
The 11th metal was Duralumin.
Was it Duralumin?
Oh no, sorry. The 11th
Malatium?
metal is what they're
11th
calling
metal.
malatium.
Malatium. Okay.
Because it's an alloy of atium.
And that's not the same as what Ellen just devoured, right?
No.
This is a completely different metal.
Different thing. Okay.
And this one also forms as a bead, just like atium does. So all the other metals are ores, and this one, an atium forms in crystals as a bead, and this one they found as a bead on this in this cavern on a pottery disc.
There's
What if Ruin created ATM and Preservation created whatever this other bead one is?
So you then think that this metal is like another non-real metal?
Yeah, I don't think it's a. I think it wouldn't make sense to me because it would make sense to me that he only has one, where everything else he's done has been like alloy, metal and alloy of each other. So
I was allowed to look at the Ars Arcanum, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if Mythic knows about it, but in there's like this like metal, and I don't know if we've seen it or if seen anything about it. But it's said
shit.
It's like literally a question mark, and it says like
so the unknown metal. So basically, this is like a theory thing in the Ars Arcanum, where because like the Ars Arcanum is supposed to be like someone like writing down like this is what I've learned about this magic system type thing. Like it's supposed to be like an in-universe thing, and so basically it's based on the ATM Mal ATM Gold trilogy. They're presuming that there is a metal that lets you see into your own future. I was going to go over that during after the epilogue, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I have that on here. 1 second. Where is that? Gold. Yeah, because gold was like, or was that a gold? That was the
gold see into your own past. Mal ATM is see into others' pasts, and ATM is see into others' future. And so the person who is writing the Ars Arcanum is like, is there one that lets you see into your own future then?
So wait, I need to change this to Mal ATM, not Electrum, because that's what you told me it was Electrum originally, and now.
Yeah, and then I fucked up and told you it's not actually Electrum, and I was like,
but Electrum is a metal in here, so I need to put that as something here.
I was thinking Electrum is the one that gave the fucking elementic powers.
It depends if you think like Mythic that it's a new like a not real metal or not, like ATM though. So if it is a real metal, then it could be Electrum. If it's not a real metal,
I mean,
then it would
Atrium
have
ATM and Mal ATM or whatever the fuck are two different things that couldn't, aren't.
Yeah. So the reason though Mal ATM doesn't have a real name is because
like,
it's an alloy of ATM. I think it's a mixture of gold and ATM.
Yeah, so as long as ATM is involved, it's obviously not gonna have like.
That's the name, but that's the name that these people have given it. Like it's not been confirmed that that's.
I don't think they've given it a proper name. I think that's just what they're calling it, because like it's not really. I don't know if they found any other of it besides that piece that Kelsier had of it, because it wasn't known by anyone except probably the Lord Ruler before that.
But yeah, no, I still think there's at least one that is like if it might be that one, it might just be that, but I feel like there's something that's gonna have another, like another one that's not gonna be just a basic metal or like that we already know of that exists. There's gonna be something else.
What do we know what Mal ATM consists of?
Yeah, I just told you it's ATM and gold.
Right.
The alloy. Oh no, okay. I thought everything was like frozen, so I thought maybe I had like lost connection or something.
Yeah, are we good then on our theories about the metal and stuff? Should I move on to the epilogue?
What do you think? What do you think reverse percentages for like metals would do? Like, what if like you try to create Mal ATM with the reverse percentages of their metals?
Probably just not create anything, to be honest.
Because what if like that creates the one that can see into the other people's future?
Don't know. I actually don't think that's been brought up in Era 1 or Era 2. I'm just going to tell you that now. Maybe that's something that'll be brought up in Era 3, or it's just not a possibility thing that can happen.
Really? Because
what color was the new bead?
I think they just say it's the wrong color. Let me see.
Okay, they don't say it's the color of anything? Okay.
Let me double check, but I think they just say it's the wrong color.
What's the wrong color?
The bead. Mythic wanted to know what the color of that metal was that she fed to Elend. But I don't think they say.
ATM is like what, like purple or something like that, or is it white?
I think it was. I don't remember off the top of my head. I gotta double check that. I'm trying to get to the front of this chapter that I think should have it. No, it just says a single bead of some metal at the center, and she as it says ATM, he says it's the wrong color. So yeah, I don't think
but what is the color?
They don't say it there.
So funny.
Yeah. Can you tell us what the color is?
I mean, I don't know if it'll matter. I can look up if I can. Did they ever describe what the color is? Because I don't know. Do people know what the color is?
Obviously. I mean, it might not have a color. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's a bit of oversight on his part if he didn't put color to it.
If anything, I think it would be something on purpose.
Uses for. Does it describe it any?
Let's go into the third book, but let's read it backwards.
I don't see anything about the description of it.
I have a theory about this new bead of fucking power, though. Because she gave Ellen her, basically, like, where the vial that has, like, all the metals in it, right?
Yeah, she gave him a vial that has, like, all of her metals.
Yeah, along with the bead. Like, so she put the bead in his mouth, she washed it down with this new thing.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to swallow it without anything.
So what if that's the reason he's a Mistborn now? And if she had, like, just given him water, maybe it wouldn't have actually made him anything.
Well, we'll find out if he can burn Atheon.
Well, I mean, yeah, true, I guess. But, because I guess that wouldn't have been in there, yeah.
And also, wouldn't Rashek also have to had done that?
I mean, I would assume. If it worked with Ellen, it would work with him, right?
Yeah,
so
why
he
Vin,
isn't able to use Allomancy.
Let me go over the epilogue, because Vin kind of theorizes about that a tiny bit.
Okay, go ahead.
And then we'll talk
Let's
about
go over the epilogue.
So, epilogue, we have Sei's point of view 2 weeks after Vin went to the Well of Ascension. He is at the conventicle of Saran again and thinking about how the mists still kill, although some people just get sick and some are fine. Do you think there's a pattern to who is killed, gets sick, or is fine?
There's probably some reason. Like something within the person.
I kind of just gave up trying to make sense of what the mist is doing at this point. Just let it rampage, you know.
So Sei's wonders if Marsh will appear and try to kill him again, as Marsh had apparently disappeared while they were down in the cavern. Sei makes it to the room with the large metal plate and places his rubbing up against it. The two do not match. Sei is shocked that the whole Terrace religion is a lie. Sei reads the first sentence again. I write these words in steel, for anything not said in metal cannot be trusted, and thinks that they should have paid better attention to it.
Should pay better attention to that.
So I have two questions here. So basically he kind of like restates the like a bunch of the epigraph stuff and like the text here. Do you want me to just read that out, or also I have a comparison of what was changed if you want me to just go over that quickly?
Yeah, that'd probably be better, to be honest. I forget we have 3 more Mistborn books after the next one.
So after this one we have 4 more Mistborn books.
4? Oh my god.
But I'm not doing them right away.
Yeah. No, but
So what you're doing is like you're doing this next one.
So I'm doing this next one, and then we're doing the book of short stories called Arcanum Unbounded, which contains
Stormlight or Stormlight.
And then we're doing Stormlight. I think we should do at least 2 of the Stormlight books, and then because they're quite long, I'm going to ask you.
You have literally Stormlight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in there.
So you're probably looking at 2 of the short stories as well.
Oh, okay.
So there's 4 actual books, and there's 2 short stories, one between book 2 and 3, and one between 3 and 4.
Dawnshard, Rhythm of War.
Yeah, so Edge Dancer and Dawnshard are novellas that are between. Okay. Well, Edge Dancer is between book 2 and 3, and Dawnshard is between.
This is going to be fun reading novellas.
His novellas are also probably 400 pages.
Novellas.
Yeah, compared to his other books. But yeah, I was planning on doing the short stories and then Stormlight 1 and 2. And then I was going to let you guys decide if you want to keep doing some Stormlight, if you want to take a break for one of his single books like Tress, or if you want to do Mistborn Arrow 2 before moving on. So these are the parts that were changed. There was a part that stated, I am afraid, however, that all I have known, that my story will be forgotten. I am afraid for the world that is to come, afraid that my plans will fail, afraid of a doom worse than the deepness. Whereas instead of saying that, he says, afraid that Alendi will fail, afraid of a doom brought by the deepness. There's also a section where the changed version was, so the original version was, he was a man who towered over others, a man who, despite his youth and clothing, demanded respect. whereas it was corrupted at one point to say a man who was small of stature but who seemed to tower over others, which is why Sage was like, oh, it's a metaphor. There's also several parts where just the name Alendi is changed to him to make it seem more like Quana's talking about the actual prophecy instead of about Alendi directly. And then obviously there's the change of announcer to Holy First Witness at one point. There is a change that states Alendi was never the hero of ages. At best, I've amplified his virtues, creating a hero where there was none. At worst, I fear that all we believe may have been corrupted. And then instead of being, I fear that all we believe may have been corrupted, it states, I fear that I have corrupted all we believe. Because he's the one that was pushing for Alendi. Mm-hmm. There's also a part where he removes a section that states, Alendi won't know that he has been deceived, that we've all been deceived, and he won't listen to me. So that part is removed from the text that sees. And then there's also a part, and then obviously there's the obvious one where it says he must not be allowed to release the power that is imprisoned there. Mm-hmm. So those were the changes that were made.
Awesome.
Yes. And then after reading out the proper description, Sage feels at that moment that he will never believe again. And we switch to Vin's point.
Never again.
We switch to Vin's point of view as she and Ellen stand on the city walls. Ellen notes that he is a Mistborn, apparently, and Vin says she thinks they know where the first Allomancers came from now. Ellen then asks about the power at the well, and Vin says she released something that she shouldn't have. Vin replies that she is worse than the Lord Ruler and asks what they're going to do. Ellen replies that they'll do what Kelsier taught them, survive. So the reason I wanted to read this quickly as we were getting into other discussions was Vin is basically implying here that they think that all Allomancers came from this metal, because there's no mention of Allomancers from before the Lord Ruler ascended. It was at the well.
I agree.
So Rashek obviously found these beads. He probably swallowed one for whatever reason, became an Allomancer. Remember, it was in the stories from the first book that he gifted the powers of Allomancy to his friends and made them the nobles. So there was probably a lot more of these beads at the well, and he gave them out to people.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, what if it correlates when they if they ingest a bunch of metal along with it, mm-hmm. That's what you become. So because she gave him pretty much every metal except ATM, he is now a Mistborn, being able to do all of these, all of them. Mm. But if she had only given him if only a vial of tin, and he chugged a vial of tin, he'd be a tin eye. Mm. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And Rashek would have known because he would have taken the Well of Ascension power for himself. He would know what to do with it, because your mind gets expanded. So he'd been if what your theory is correct, he would have known.
Yeah, I have to drink. I have to eat all of the metals. That's why he had everything. And then I'm sure it'll kind of fall on its face if Darkness was saying, if he can't use ATM, mm-hmm. Then it would make sense. He could do it then. I would say, yeah, it's probably the way it is. But if he can use ATM, then it probably falls on his face. Because mm-hmm. There's no way she had ATM in that vial.
No, because she had no ATM left.
Yeah, so.
I'm also assuming there's probably no Mal ATM in there either, because they don't have any ATM to alloy into anything else.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's Duralumin in there.
Might have been, yeah. I don't remember if she kept it separate or kept it in the vials as well. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking right now, if that can give Allomancy, do you think there's something that gives Ferrocami like that?
Yeah, probably. Oh, by the way, I think we've passed it, because it was during the fight with Marsh. Remember long time ago, Darkness, when you were saying that there was a healing ability?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember? Do you see how he used a healing ability while in the fight with Marsh?
I mean, we've talked about Gold a lot.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So I started thinking about that, but when he used it, right, it made the whole thing of like, oh, his wounds began to close and shit like that. And I was thinking, holy shit, what if there is an ability for Allomancers now that also has that same ability? Because the Lord Ruler, like he was very cocky in believing he was going to, live forever because his head been chopped off and all this stuff. So maybe there's an ability, like a Allomancer ability that
Well, remember, you
allows him to do
can
it too. He had both
compound
of them, I know.
stuff. So, like, he
Mhm.
can just compound his gold
His
ferrochemy
gold Ferrochemy, yeah.
by swallowing a bunch of gold.
hmm
That's how he did it with the youth thing as well, with the
Yeah.
ATM.
With his ATM, right?
Yeah.
Or no? Was it
Yeah,
ATM?
yeah, it was ATM. And
We still haven't
ATM's
found out
allomantic
where he
power
put all
doesn't
his.
have anything.
We still haven't found out where he put all the ATM though.
No, we still don't know where. They still haven't found the ATM. You think they'll
What
ever
if
find
that's
the
how the
ATM?
well was get? What if that's how the well was getting refilled?
It ate the ATM.
Imagine.
He was just dumping ATM in there constantly.
I imagine him with like a big ladle, just like swishing around the water.
What else we have? So we finished the epilogue. Just wanted to briefly mention the Ars Arcanum. I think this will make Mythic happy, but Mythic can't see the Ars Arcanum. So do you want to send him a
Nope.
picture of the table? What the table looks like?
Oh, is there a
Doctors?
table? There's a table.
A
Of
little,
this?
little.
I've been writing it out on a fucking thing, and there's a table.
Yeah.
What? The whole Word document. What the hell?
I mean, you wouldn't have
Table.
your theory stuff in there. It doesn't have like the fair
Oh.
or it does have some of the
You mean
Ferrochem.
like?
the
You mean like? Oh, I see. I
the
see.
picture above the table of elemental metals.
Yeah.
So I feel like Mythic's
I
gonna
like that
have.
it has the symbols.
Yeah, it has the
And I-
There
symbols
are,
on it.
there are symbols?
I've told
I
you
like
there are
that the
symbols.
symbol for steel corresponds with the actual, Inquisitors.
So I feel like Mythic will be very excited to see what it looks like.
Oh, you mean the like the pie chart?
Yes.
Because the other thing had the table.
Yeah, sorry, the thing above the table. The picture above the table.
Hold on, I'm trying
The
to crop it.
unfinished pie chart.
Wait, they're unfinished?
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
so
Mythic
there's
will
more
be very
metal.
excited.
There's more metal.
That's why I'm like, Mythic will be very excited to see
There's
this.
more metal.
There you go, Mythic.
Yeah,
This is
there's
what the
more
pie
metal.
chart looks like.
Wait.
There's 4 more.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, there's 4 more. So that would make 16. I was right.
They don't have the one they just found though on there. So there's at least one of those 4 that would be on there.
There's still 16. So I was right.
So yeah,
8 base metals and 8 alloys.
I thought you would appreciate that the back of this book has a pie chart that is very unfinished.
But why does this not tell me what they're named? I want to know what, like,
because you don't know.
a misting of ATM or a misting of Maltium.
They have that.
ATM.
So at the end of the chart,
is that
but they don't tell you what a mystic of like Mal ATM and stuff is. They only tell you the ones that you know already.
Oh well, I mean, I want to know what Mal ATM and ATM and
Yeah, well, that's 'cause they don't have a name
whatever
for them
I
yet.
know this.
All it says about Mal ATM is it's an external temporal pushing metal.
Yeah, and then there's the internal temporal ones or whatever.
This is ferrochemical shit too.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a ferrochemical chart, like pie chart?
It's
No.
the exact same chart.
Oh, damn.
Because the chart just represents the known metals.
I just want to show this real quick. Hold on.
What is this?
Sure. Oh, the picture
Oh.
of the skull.
That's funny.
Why does it not like mush their brain?
Probably
Elements.
does, honestly.
Magic.
It's like constant healing.
So I guess we'll do some overview book questions before finishing out this episode, and then as always we're going to do a quick preview of the third book, which will be technically a separate episode on Spotify. But so the book overview questions, first of all, what did you think about this book overall?
Meh.
Where would you kind of rank it in your rankings for the other?
I definitely like this book a lot more than I liked the first one. Like the first one of this series.
The first of Mistborn, yeah.
I agree, but it's apparently an unpopular opinion. Apparently, this book is the least favorite of the trilogy for most people.
Well, I mean, we haven't read the third one, so...
Apparently, for most people, they don't like all of the Ellen politics stuff in the middle.
It's my favorite part.
I know, right?
Well, if
I showed you
anything-
so much.
if anything, this one would fall second to if the third one is better.
Yeah, you obviously can't compare it to that. I was more like to the. Now we have 4 books we've read. Kind of where would you rank it overall?
4 books.
We've read
Yeah,
4.
we've read
Warbreaker, Elantris, Mistborn,
Elantris,
and then Mistborn.
and these 2 Mistborns. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 4 books.
Do you like
Well,
more or less than Warbreaker? Because if you like this one more than Final Empire, I think did you say you would like Elantris more than Final Empire as well? Like this more or less than Elantris and Warbreaker.
I like Elantris more than the first one of this book.
Mhm.
I mean, of this series.
I still like Warbreaker the best though. So
Yeah, I do like
I
Warbreaker
mean, I think
first.
Warbreaker's been the best one so far. So
Yeah, so my list is Warbreaker first.
this Mistborn book, then the other one, and then
Elantris for you. Where do you put it? This one
I
versus
just don't like
Elantris,
Elantris.
Darkness.
I put Warbreaker, Elantris, and then this one.
And then the final. That's fair.
Yeah. Only because in this one I didn't really have like comfort characters.
Mm.
Like everyone seems to like have their characters they like, and I'm just like they're cool, but I didn't like get emotionally attached to someone.
It's because Marsh was gone for so long.
Yeah.
I don't even like Marsh like that anymore.
Bullshit.
I really don't.
I still like Marsh.
I don't like Marsh, but I've never liked Marsh. I was happy he died.
And I was starting to like Saze, but then he got annoying as fuck at the end.
I've always liked Saze, and I still like Saze.
I love Sazed.
Saze is awesome.
I don't like Saze anymore, like at all.
Sazed, Marsh, and Tensoon are my favorite 3. Or I'm Breeze.
Oh, him.
Sazed,
Wait,
Marsh, Breeze,
who
and
is the other one?
Tensoon.
Who's
Out of
Tensu?
all of them, Tenzin is the one that I would like the best.
Which one is Tensu?
The
Kandra.
fucking
That's
Orser.
Oh,
Fake Orser.
Orser. Gotcha.
Yeah, the guy who was
That's like,
pretending to be Orser.
Oh.
Technically, we barely got Orser in this book.
I hope he
Well, a
comes
close second to Tenzin being like my favorite is the Granny.
back. Oh yeah, the way from Warbreaker. Yeah.
No,
That's Mob. I'm talking about
You're talking about the woman at the way out of the city.
the little secret place. Yeah.
that Ham
Oh.
brings them to let Ellen down to go to the Kolos camp.
Oh, gotcha.
Darkness likes the little old ladies who are randomly in the books.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because you never know if they're gods, you know? Like, what
Yeah,
if she pulls out the
that is
lady
awesome.
and she's like, off with all their heads, you know?
So also, what did you think of the ending of this book? Did you enjoy the ending? The climax being them at the well?
I'm satisfied because the only thing that I did not want was them to name this shit the Well of Ascension and not show us the well.
I think you might
Girl,
be
they
seeing.
They didn't show us the well at all, though.
We'll see
You're
if
right.
I mean, the Final Empire ends at the end of the Final Empire. They get to the Well of Ascension at the end of Well of Ascension.
Oh my god, so does that mean that whatever the fuck the next book's called is going to be the literal ending of the book?
The next book's called Hero of Ages.
Yep, it's going to be the
You know what
very
that
ending of the
means?
book. Yeah.
They find the Hero of Ages.
Yeah, at the very end of the book. And then we have to wait months for the next section.
We do? Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I blame Midnight.
Yeah, I blame Midnight too.
My final question was, what are your predictions for the Hero of Ages?
I feel like
We're just going to follow Vin around the whole time.
it's not going to be Vin. Vin already had her chance, you know? This is the Hero of Ages being announced, like,
No, I think
And
the
then-
Hero of Ages. I think the Hero of Ages is going to be Sazed.
nah.
Yep, totally. Yep.
I feel like
He's gonna be
Sazed-
the real. Yep,
Saze is dying that book for sure.
No, I hope not.
I think
I
so.
hope-
Hopeful.
I hope preservation takes over Sazed's body, so he'll never die.
That'd be cool.
We'll preserve him.
Yep, and then he'll be a god, and I'll be like, ha ha, darkness, Sazed never die.
And then he'll never see Tinder again.
Well, I mean, he's not gonna see Tin Will anyway, so she dead.
I would laugh if she's not dead.
I mean, I'm holding out hope that a lot of people ain't dead. Okay, like I'm really hoping that what's his name from the first book? Fuck.
Kelsier?
Thank you. Yeah, Kelsier's not dead. Really hoping that man is still alive.
I'm starting to have a theory that the Koloss are actually Paris people,
Oh, really?
but they're like buffed up constantly.
Hmm. And blue for some reason.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
It's because of the cold. You know where they come from? Like,
They're just
you know where they
constantly
come from?
frostbitten.
I mean, I think Midnight's the only one here who knows where they come from.
you want me to be honest? I
No,
feel like
they come from the Terrace Dominance in the north.
Yep.
I feel like
Midnight's the
I
only
feel
one.
like I'm sorry.
No, go
Go
ahead,
on.
Darkness.
I feel like the blue is kind of explained if like I had it explained and then I fucking tried saying it multiple times and I forgot.
I'm so
Sorry.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
The blue. Oh, okay. So the blue I
Sorry,
feel like would
Walter.
be explained if like they're dead. You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like they use
They're like zombies.
the corpses, which is what I've been like saying for like the fucking longest. That they use the corpses to like animate them into like being the Colossus.
Mm.
Like once alive again, but their bodies are like constantly growing because they need that in order to like survive that little part they can't.
Alright. So that's your theory. Here's my theory.
Mm.
Okay. I think both the Inquisitors and the Koloss are, like Darkness said, from dead bodies. I think both of them are, and I think the Koloss are the failed experiment, and the Inquisitors are the successful one. Because way back
That's
when,
right.
Rashek made the comment that it's hard to make Inquisitors, and so maybe you putting the metal like spikes or whatever in the bodies can create like either one, pretty much.
So you think he was like experimenting with what he could do with these things that he learned from the powers at the Well of Ascension? He like
Yes.
fucked up, made Kolos a few times, and then accidentally made an Inquisitor. And he's like, oh shit, I can do this as well. But Kolos are also useful because I can control their minds.
Exactly. So
So he did both.
that's my theory. My theory is that I mean that's why he could, command both of them. So
The Inquisitors do seem to, at least when around the Lord Ruler, they had a little more self-thought though, whereas the Kolos are kind of more mindless.
yeah,
Why?
it's like he's bringing them back to life or something, but like one becomes a zombie and the other actually comes back to life.
But why mystery
Why Mistborn?
or conjure whatever?
Oh yeah, I don't know, honestly.
And if that's the thing, if maybe they broke free. If sorry, let me just if they all come from the same spot, why would the Inquisitors try to stop,
Also a question, why would the Kandra then call the Kolos their cousins when they don't call the Inquisitors their cousins?
Okay, I'll have to think about more of this theory now.
Throwing all sorts of crazy questions at you guys. I feel like I can almost hear Darkness's mind like working, trying to think.
Yeah, I'm like going through so many things right now, and I can't just talk to you guys about it like straight up, because I move on so fast. Like my mouth will not keep up with my thoughts. Maybe it has to do with the fact that there are two pools again, and two different beings, and one used like let's go with Mythic's theory of like. Wait, I think it was Mythic's theory. I don't know. Of like it containing no, Mythic's theory was fucking it all being preservation's powers. But like what if it contains one contains preservation's powers in order to get created and the other one contains ruin, which is like where the Inquisitors were from. And that's why they don't technically call themselves related. Even though they were created from the same person.
Do you guys have any more thoughts, or should we move on to...
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts, okay? But I'm trying to put them together to make an actual theory because you fucked my theory over and now I can't figure out how to fix that. Because I'm still stuck on why they had the fucking nails inside them. And like the only thing that it could correlate to would be the fucking Inquisitors who have spikes driven through their fucking bodies. So maybe the nails are the same thing. I also have another theory that because they don't reproduce, Koloss don't reproduce. So what if they take those same nails and they put it in another dead body and that becomes a Koloss? Also, I swear to God, this Steel Inquisitor, like making Steel Inquisitors, has to have a name. Because Making Steel Inquisitors is a long ass fucking title.
As I've said to you
Yeah,
before, there is like I'd say like 99% of your questions will be answered in this final book because everything that is not something that has to be in future books, like everything that about like the actual plot line of these books will be explained in book 3.
Okay, so we won't have to wait on book 4 to like
You won't have to
figure
wait
out.
on Mistborn Era 2 for like things like
It,
answers to Koloss, answers to Khandra,
okay.
answers to
It
Inquisitors.
doesn't say that anybody dies or not. But is the second age different characters?
Yeah, so I think I
Okay.
did briefly tell you in the past. It is 300 years in the future.
Yeah, okay.
That
so
doesn't
the
mean
Wild West.
shit.
It doesn't really, but you know.
You don't you do understand, but like it's the fact that this dude lived for
Lived for
1,000 years, so it
1,000
doesn't
years,
even
yeah.
matter.
So the main characters are named Wax and Wayne, because you can tell that just by reading the back of the book.
Wax and Wayne.
Yeah,
Wayne. Oh my god.
I know. It's
Why is he not original? What the fuck?
so it's funny because Scadrial has no
Wax
moons.
on, Wayne off.
No, it's like a waxing moon and a waning moon, but they have no moons on Scadrial. Which makes me laugh.
Don't get it.
Wait.
So the
what?
phases of the moon, when it's like a crescent
Waxing
shape,
and waning, yeah.
it's waxing or waning depending on which way the
Yeah,
crescent
you
faces.
wax off, you wane on. Yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah, but so I took an astronomy class in university. That's the only reason I know. But yeah, so it makes it funny that they have no moon considering their names. But yeah, so the main, so it's like a whole new cast of like main characters. I will not tell you if anyone somehow survives thousands of like I shouldn't say thousands of years, 300 years. If someone is capable of doing that, they may or may not be in the book, but I don't want to give any sort of like yes or no to that. But the main cast of characters is completely different. If that helps.
Okay. I have more theories, but at the same time, I don't know how to connect them. I just think it would be really cool. And it would explain why Marsh is so, like, conflicted on why he is killing people, but he's still doing it.
Well, you'll be happy to know that the prologue that I'm going to read out to you is in the third book is Marsh's POV.
Oh, yeah? Well, okay. Hopefully I'll answer this question.
Alright. Should we go into the Hero Aegis trailer?
100%.